Welcome to the Blue Collar Baddies podcast. This is episode number 30. This episode is sponsored by Outlaw Spray Foam, providing high-quality insulation services for the greater Oklahoma area for the past 8 years. Today we're here with Sierra. Tell me what you do.
I'm a union welder.
Okay. And how'd you get involved?
So I started with a small mom and pop shop right after I got out of trade school. Traveling just wasn't really in the book for me.
Right.
So I started working at a small company in the town I live in Vincennes, and it was a really cool opportunity right off the bat. And then as time went on, I just kind of found it wasn't a good fit for me, and my family is really involved in the unions, and I got sent up to the 157.
Nice. What did you originally think you were going to do?
Originally, when I first got out of high school and was getting ready to go to college, I studied criminal psychology.
Really?
Yeah, and then I found out I wasn't going to be successful till I was 60.
Yeah.
I'd like a little more money than that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then I was really prominent in my art culture in my high school, and my art teacher really pushed me toward welding. And
That's cool.
so I looked into it, and the Vincennes University has a really great program, and
Yeah.
I got involved with that shortly after COVID.
Nice. And when you were a kid, what did you think you wanted to be?
Man, it changed every week.
Yeah.
There was never any consistency there. My mom was really involved in healthcare, but
Okay.
people don't, I know wasn't going to happen.
It takes a lot. I could never.
Very special type of people to take care of people.
For sure, yeah. What made you decide on the welding specifically?
Probably a lot to do with doing a lot of metal art when I was in school.
I guess you said you're art teacher.
Yeah, I always kind of just glued everything together, and they're like, man, you could really cross a lot of boundaries if you could just weld. And luckily with the small mom and pop shop I was at, I had a lot of free time to work with their welders, and I used to make roses for Valentine's Day and that sort of thing, because
cool.
Inevitably men always forget to buy something.
Right. That's funny. What has been the biggest struggle you faced so far in your job?
In the union, I'm not having this problem at all, but I worked with my last company for 4 years, and the negligence of management, and realizing that a bad management structure is not only going to affect safety, it's going to affect morale, it's going to affect production eventually. And moving into my new job that I have now, that was one of the first things they said to me, is that this is really important, that the morale is high here. And I worked for a company where, to encourage production, they encouraged anxiety. And it was really stressful, and trying to convince men who've been doing this for 30, 40 years that, hey, maybe this isn't the best route, was a really difficult struggle. And there was a lot of discrimination around oh, well, you're just soft because you're a girl, and that sort of thing. And
Dang.
It was a rough kind of start for me, but I really feel like that was a necessary part for me to appreciate what I have now.
Nice. That's a good way to look at it. What would you say is your favorite, can't live without it tool?
I have a 360 level, and I love it so much. It's I don't know exactly what it's called, but it's a dial, and it has a magnet on the bottom, and I can set it on anything, and it'll give me the exact degree point of where something's at, and I love that thing.
That's awesome. So we almost expect the hateful-ish comments to come from men, but have you had any friction with other women on the job site?
I've only had friction with one, and she was 19 and really young and still kind of had that chip on her shoulder.
Right.
She came out of it a little bit later. We just kind of found that where she was at wasn't a good fit.
Yeah.
I work with 2 other women now, and actually my first day at the job site, my car broke down, and one of the girls was like, hey, I'm gonna take you and get your help you get your car fixed. And
Nice.
I found that in the union, women really kind of band together, and I get approached by the women I work with now, and it's kind of weird, and I'm getting used to it, but it's definitely a change.
That's awesome. You should have brought them with you.
Yeah, they live an hour and a half from me, though. I'm not sure I could have pitched it.
Right, yeah. What's your absolute favorite thing about your job?
The camaraderie.
Yeah.
And it's not just with the women. I have a lot of camaraderie with men. In fact, I'm getting married in a few months, and one of my previous coworkers is going to be my man of honor, because he's 25 years older than me, but I used to go out to lunch like every Tuesday with these guys, and
cool.
once you get accepted into that, it really feels like you have like this really steady family group of friends,
Right.
and it was a really cool thing for me that I didn't get in other occupations I had before.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you mentioned that you started this during COVID. What'd you do before that?
So I paid my way through trade school as an automotive technician for Walmart.
Oh.
Before that, I was a bartender, and just kind of bounced around in jobs like that, kind of just getting a feel for what was comfortable. I spent a lot of time in the service industry, which kind of also fed into I just don't deal well with people as customers.
Yeah. That takes a special kind of person, too.
It really does.
Do you have any like skincare, hair care tips?
So I definitely have I use like a gritty black head scrub on my face every night with a cleanser afterwards. And I have found that moisturizing my skin really helps because I got a lot of arc burn in the beginning of my career, and I started to notice some lines and was like, gotta do something about this.
Right.
So I definitely have a moisturizer I put on my face every night, and I wear sunscreen on my face when I'm welding, because sometimes even with your hood being down, you get that reflection off your shirt or whatever you're wearing, and you can still get some arc burn. I also really recommend to anybody who's getting into the trades, go to your doctor and get a prescription for Celvadine cream. It's a prescription burn cream. If you get splatter or anything on you, that stuff will clear it up, and minimal scarring. It's phenomenal stuff.
Really? Nice. I recently switched to tallow cream on my face because I'm 35, so, the wrinkles are happening, but I feel like the tallow has helped.
Okay.
I buy it at the farmer's market, though, so it's like, homemade kind of
Oh,
deal.
that's cool.
Yeah. Anyway, so any embarrassing job site stories you want to share?
There's been a few. I was working, doing a hydroponic test on a tank, standard stuff, did it all the time. And, I always hoped the story of me breaking my arm would be like absolute valor, badassery.
Right.
I tripped over a garden hose.
Oh, no.
I came back the next day, and because I had to turn in all my paperwork for workman's comp and whatnot, and I definitely got relentlessly teased for weeks about tripping over a garden hose and breaking my arm. So that was definitely probably the most scarring for sure.
Yeah. That's funny, though. I mean, it's not funny, but...
It's a little funny now.
Yeah, I bet. Do you work out, or the job is the workout?
The job is definitely a workout. After I broke my arm in particular, I started going to the gym just to do preventative maintenance.
Right.
When I first started my job, I had a lot of lower back pain. And my mom being in healthcare, I was talking to her about it, and she's like, well, you need to work on your abdominal muscles. That's what's wrong. And so I do go to the gym, not as frequently as I should,
right.
But yeah.
Nice. And do you have any advice for girls that would want to do what you're doing?
Yeah, absolutely be teachable. Even if you go to trade school and then you end up at a job site, you do not know everything.
Right.
These guys have tricks that they have perfected over the years. You need to be willing to be teachable. You need to be willing to listen to what they're going to tell you, because they have this idea of people coming out of trade school who are just these know-it-alls, and you don't want to be that person.
For sure. So
that would be my biggest stint of advice.
Nice. And do you have any big upcoming plans or goals in your career?
So after I get through the bigger part of my apprenticeship, I have been studying for some time to take the CWI exam.
Nice.
But test is expensive,
right?
And I want to make sure I pass the first time, because pass or fail, you're not getting that money back. Right. So that's definitely what I'd like to work towards.
Sweet. And what about like jeans, PPE, boots? Do you have any suggestions or
I really like Red Wing boots. I have pretty big feet, so I don't really have trouble finding boots that fit me as far as men's.
Right.
Absolutely get insoles for your boots.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to be on concrete all the time. It doesn't matter if you buy the fanciest boot out there, it's going to wear out on you.
Yeah.
As far as, I really like Goodwill because I burn through clothes so quickly.
Right.
My significant other's mother buys me a pair of FR jeans for Christmas every year. Love her for that.
That's awesome.
But yeah, wear your gloves. Those are really important.
Yeah. If you had to switch careers, what other trade do you think you would want to experience?
Man, you know, I would really think that the carpenters sound really cool.
Yeah.
I know absolutely nothing about it.
Right.
But, you know, like with metal, if you mess up, you just weld it back and
Right.
grind it off and you get to start over. And I kind of like the idea of the challenge of
Yeah.
like, you have to do it right the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good perspective. We'll link your social media in the description. Do you have any other businesses or companies you want to shout out?
No, not really, unless anybody just so happens to be in Vincennes, Indiana. Grunman's shoes are pretty
Yeah.
excellent. And it's a
Nice.
nice little small business that'll sell you your boots and they'll fix them once they start to wear out. So.
That's awesome. I need resole.
Oh yeah, they'll fix those, and yeah, they resole, they stitch them back together. It's a really great small company.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anything else to add?
No, I think I'm good. Thank you, Haley.
Thanks for driving here.
Yeah, no, no problem.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed it, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next one. All the links and products we mentioned today will be listed in the description. If you're a woman in a blue-collar industry and you're interested in being the focus of the next episode, or you're a small business that would like to sponsor an episode, reach out to us in the link below.